Welcome to Pam Jammer's Regression Tales. We post new stories every week, so be sure to subscribe, like, and share to stay updated. Now, sit back, relax, and enjoy the story. The Diaper Contract. Chapter 1: The Contract. Jack had never felt as nervous as he did sitting across from his wife, Emily, in their cozy living room. They'd been married for years, and he'd always known he could share anything with her. But this was different. For as long as he could remember, he'd harbored a quiet, unspoken wish, a longing to return to the comfort he'd felt as a child, back when he'd worn diapers for bedwetting. The feeling had stayed with him through the years, a soft, secret desire that he'd never fully understood, yet never been able to shake. One evening, after a long conversation, he finally confessed it to Emily, sharing with her how much he missed the comforting feeling, the sense of safety and care he associated with it. To his surprise, Emily hadn't laughed or brushed it off. Instead, she'd listened carefully, her expression thoughtful as she took in his words. After a few moments, she leaned forward, her eyes warm with understanding. "Jack, thank you for trusting me with this," she said softly. "I can see how much this means to you. And I want you to know that I'm here to support you." Jack felt a surge of relief, grateful for her kindness. "Thank you, Emily. I just don't know how to make this real, or if it even should be real. It's probably silly." Emily shook her head, reaching over to take his hand. "It's not silly at all. In fact, I think this could be something really meaningful for both of us. But," she paused, a thoughtful look crossing her face, "if we're going to explore this, I think it would help if we did it properly, with structure." Jack raised an eyebrow, intrigued but unsure. "What do you mean?" Emily leaned back, a glint of determination in her eyes. "I think it would make sense to create an agreement, a contract between us. One that would give me full control over this process, so you don't have to worry about decisions or whether you're doing it right. You'd leave everything to me and trust me to guide you." The idea of a contract felt both intimidating and strangely comforting. How would that work?" Emily smiled. "If you're up for it, give me a little time. I'll go draft something up. Don't move, all right?" She gave him a playful wink. "You know I'm a lawyer, and a good one, so I'll make sure this contract gives us both exactly what we need." Jack nodded, watching her with a mix of admiration and apprehension as she left the room. The next hour felt like an eternity, his mind racing with thoughts about what a contract like this might entail and wondering what it would mean for them. Finally, Emily returned, holding a neatly typed document in her hands, her face glowing with quiet excitement. "This contract," she explained, setting it down in front of him, "would give me full authority over your care for 1 year. You would agree to wear diapers, follow a routine I set for you, and let me handle all of the details. You'd have to trust me completely, no taking control back, no questioning my choices. It would be my responsibility to ensure your well-being." Jack looked down at the document, his heart pounding as he took in the terms. The contract was detailed, outlining Emily's control over everything from his wardrobe to his daily schedule and even his hygiene. She would decide when he needed a change, what he would wear, and how his day would unfold. He would be completely in her care, bound to follow her guidance. Then, Emily pointed out an additional clause. "There's also this," she said, tapping a paragraph near the bottom. "If you break any of these rules or try to back out before the end of the contract, your inheritance will automatically transfer to me." Jack blinked, feeling a wave of surprise. "Why is that necessary?" Emily's expression softened as she placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. "Because, Jack, I think we both need to know that this commitment is real, with something that holds us accountable. It's not about the money, it's about knowing we'll both see this through to the end. If there's no consequence, it might be too easy to back out when things feel uncomfortable." Jack felt a surge of both excitement and fear, the weight of the decision pressing on him. But as he looked at Emily, her warm smile and reassuring gaze filled him with a sense of peace. She had always been his anchor, the one person he could rely on completely. Taking a deep breath, he nodded. All right, Emily. I trust you. Let's do this. Emily's smile grew, her eyes shining with pride. Thank you, Jack. I promise I'll take care of you. She handed him a pen, and with one final glance at the document, he signed his name, sealing his commitment to the life she had envisioned for them. As he set the pen down, Emily leaned forward, brushing a gentle kiss across his cheek. Welcome to your new life, my sweet little one, she whispered. With that simple act, Jack felt the weight of his decision settle over him, a mix of apprehension and comfort. He was hers, fully and without reservation, bound by the trust he had placed in her. And as she took his hand, guiding him into their first steps of this journey, he knew there was no turning back. Chapter 2, First Diapering. With the contract signed, Emily wasted no time putting their plan into action. The following evening, she returned to Jack with a small box of items she'd chosen carefully, each one selected to bring both comfort and a touch of playfulness to their new routine. She could barely contain her excitement, but she noticed the nervous look in Jack's eyes and gave him a reassuring smile. Let's start with something simple, she said softly, holding out a neatly folded diaper that was thick and soft, with a babyish design. She watched Jack's reaction carefully. There was a flicker of hesitation, but he nodded, trusting her guidance. Emily gently opened the diaper and laid it out, smoothing each edge with her hands. She took her time, making sure he could see her care and attention to each detail, and then gestured for him to lie back onto the disposable diaper. This might feel strange at first, she said, her tone calm and encouraging, but just let me help you, my sweet baby. Her voice was filled with warmth, and Jack couldn't help but feel a mix of nerves and quiet reassurance at her choice of words. With steady hands, she lifted his legs, sliding the diaper beneath him, adjusting it carefully so that everything was aligned just right. Jack felt a mix of emotions, nervousness, a hint of embarrassment, and an undeniable sense of reassurance from Emily's calm, steady actions. Emily dusted a gentle layer of baby powder, her hands moving carefully as she made sure he was comfortable. The soft scent of the powder filled the room, creating an unexpectedly comforting atmosphere. Then, with practiced care, she brought the diaper up over his waist, smoothing out each edge to ensure there were no folds or creases. Jack's heart raced as Emily leaned forward to secure each tape, pressing them gently into place. The diaper crinkled softly with each movement, and he couldn't help but feel a sense of security in her thoroughness. When she finished, Emily stepped back to admire her work, a small, satisfied smile on her face. There we go, my little diapered cutie, she said, her voice filled with pride. Perfectly done. Jack glanced down, feeling both overwhelmed and oddly satisfied. Emily's confidence and enthusiasm made the experience feel less daunting, and he found himself more at ease than he'd expected. But Emily wasn't finished. Reaching into the box, she pulled out a soft, cozy shirt she'd chosen just for him, along with a pair of loose, comfortable shorts that left his diaper slightly visible. She held the shirt open, helping him slip his arms through, then adjusted it so it lay smoothly. The fabric was soft against his skin, and Jack felt a quiet warmth in her careful movements. As she stepped back to take in the final look, Emily's eyes sparkled with satisfaction. You look just right, my precious baby, she said, her voice gentle but pleased. How do you feel? Jack hesitated, processing the emotions that swirled within him, vulnerability, relief, and, to his surprise, a sense of comfort. It feels different. But good, he managed to say, a small smile forming as he met her gaze. Emily reached out, giving his hand a reassuring squeeze. I'm glad, my little one. Just trust me, Jack. We're in this together. Chapter 3, Baby's First Change. The first evening after Emily had helped Jack settle into his new routine felt surprisingly natural, albeit with a touch of nervousness on his part. Emily had guided him with care, helping him adjust to the soft clothing and the thick, crinkly diaper that reminded him of her support with every movement. Though Jack felt a bit self-conscious, Emily's gentle encouragement made it easier to embrace each step. As the evening wore on, Jack began to feel a growing discomfort, a new sensation building that he was uncertain how to handle. He tried to ignore it at first, shifting nervously, but Emily, ever observant, caught the hint of unease in his expression. Without a word, she placed a gentle hand on his lower back, her touch warm and reassuring. Then, with a small, knowing smile, she lightly pressed her hand against the seat of his diaper, sensing his need for a change. Jack's cheeks flushed as he realized what she was doing, but Emily's calm, understanding gaze kept him grounded. "Oh, it looks like my little baby needs some attention," she said softly, her tone both soothing and confident. "You don't have to be embarrassed, sweetheart. This is all part of the experience, remember. You trust me to take care of everything." Jack felt a surge of vulnerability but also a surprising sense of relief. He nodded, letting Emily guide him to the bedroom where she prepared everything for his care. With a quiet confidence, she directed him to lie down, her hands moving with practiced ease as she began the process of changing him. Emily unfolded the diaper with calm efficiency, unfastening each tape with gentle precision, folding back the edges and making sure he was as comfortable as possible. Jack's heart raced, feeling exposed and slightly embarrassed, but Emily's steady movements and soothing words helped ease his tension. "There we go, my little cutie," she murmured, offering soft words of encouragement as she cleaned him up. Her touch was gentle yet firm, creating a blend of nurturing and control that left Jack feeling both cared for and secure. Once he was ready, Emily unfolded a fresh, crinkly diaper, positioning it carefully beneath him. She added a light dusting of powder, the familiar scent filling the room and easing his nerves even further. As she secured each tape with gentle precision, she leaned back with a satisfied smile. "There we go, baby," she said, her voice warm and affectionate, giving his hand a reassuring squeeze. "All fresh and comfortable, just like you deserve." Jack looked up at her, feeling both humbled and deeply reassured. Her gaze held a quiet pride as she looked down at him. "See?" she murmured, her voice soft. "You don't have to worry about anything, my little diaper baby. I'm here to take care of you completely." Chapter 4: A Needed Change. The morning after Jack's first night fully embracing his new role, he awoke to find Emily already bustling around the kitchen, cheerfully preparing breakfast. The previous night's experience left him feeling a strange blend of comfort and vulnerability, but he reminded himself to trust in Emily's guidance. "Good morning, my little one." Emily greeted him warmly as he entered the kitchen, gesturing to a plate of food waiting for him at the table. "How did my little baby sleep?" Jack smiled, taking a seat. "Pretty well, actually," he replied, feeling a quiet gratitude for her kindness and support. Emily's face lit up with pleasure, clearly happy that he was adjusting well. As they chatted, Jack ate the breakfast Emily had prepared, fluffy scrambled eggs, toast, and a glass of juice that tasted slightly different from usual. She kept him company, her cheerful conversation easing him further into their new normal. But as the meal went on, Jack felt a growing pressure, a discomfort that reminded him of how vulnerable he now was in Emily's care. He shifted uncomfortably, glancing at her with a bit of uncertainty. Emily noticed his slight fidgeting and gave him a playful, knowing smile. "Is everything all right, baby?" she asked, tilting her head with a glint of mischief in her eyes. Jack's cheeks flushed, wondering if she'd somehow anticipated this situation. As if reading his thoughts, Emily stood up, came over to him, and took his hands in hers. "Come on, Jack," she murmured encouragingly, helping him stand up. "I think my little baby needs some extra help." Feeling both embarrassed and reassured by her steady presence, Jack let her guide him. Emily gave his hands a gentle squeeze and encouraged him to squat slightly. "It's all right, sweetie," she cooed with a soft smile. "Just let go. I'm here to take care of you." With Emily's gentle encouragement, Jack finally gave in, feeling a deep flush of embarrassment as he filled his diaper while she held onto his hands. Emily watched with a look of pure delight, clearly thrilled to be there with him in such a vulnerable moment. "That's my little baby," she murmured, her tone filled with affection. "You did so well." Once he was finished, she gently guided him to lie down on the changing mat she'd prepared, her eyes twinkling with amusement and care. "Let's get you all cleaned up, my poopy little diaper baby," she said with a playful grin. Jack lay down, feeling an odd mix of embarrassment and comfort as Emily set to work with her usual calm confidence. She unfastened the tapes with gentle precision, folding back the edges and carefully wiping him clean. Her movements were practiced and steady, each step filled with an affectionate care that made him feel safe. "There we go, baby," she teased, giving him a playful smile as she finished cleaning him. "Just a little more powder, and you'll be fresh as a daisy." Jack's cheeks burned as she dusted a light layer of powder, the familiar scent filling the room. Emily lifted a fresh, extra thick diaper, positioning it beneath him with her usual care. The softness and thickness felt even more comforting than before. Once she'd fastened the tapes securely, Emily gave his diapered bottom a gentle pat, her eyes twinkling with amusement. "There we go, baby, all set and ready for the day." She was enjoying this more than Jack expected, which made him feel a mixture of nerves and warmth. Chapter 5: Therapy with Sister. As the days went by, Jack found himself gradually settling into the rhythm Emily had established for him. Her care and attention, paired with her playful nicknames like Baby and Diaper Butt, left him feeling both embarrassed and strangely reassured. Each little quip reminded him of her dedication to guiding him through this journey, and he found himself smiling, even as his cheeks flushed at the sound of those affectionate names. One evening, as they sat together in the living room, Emily turned to him with a thoughtful look. "Jack," she began gently, "there's something I'd like us to do together as part of this experience." He looked at her curiously, sensing the serious yet supportive tone in her voice. "I think it would be helpful for us to talk through everything with someone who can provide an outside perspective, someone who can help us both understand how we're feeling as we go through this," she continued, her eyes warm and reassuring. "And I was thinking. My sister, Rachel, is a licensed therapist. She's offered to come by and have regular sessions with us, just to make sure we're both feeling supported and comfortable." Jack hesitated, feeling a hint of vulnerability at the idea. "Therapy?" he repeated, trying to process her words. Emily gave his hand a comforting squeeze. "Yes, Jack. It's just to help us navigate any feelings that come up, to make sure you feel safe and understood," she explained. "Rachel's wonderful, she's non-judgmental and caring. And since she's family, I think it could add a level of comfort." Jack considered her words, feeling both nervous and reassured. Though he hadn't thought he'd need therapy, he trusted Emily's judgment and knew that Rachel would approach everything with professionalism. Emily's voice softened, her tone playful as she reached over to pat his diapered bottom. "And don't worry, Diaper Butt," she added with a grin. "Rachel will help us work through anything that might make you feel nervous, and I'll be right there with you." Jack managed a sheepish smile, her teasing helping him relax a bit. "I guess. If you think it'll help," he replied, still feeling a bit uncertain but trusting her. Emily's face lit up, and she gave his hand another squeeze. "Thank you, Jack. I promise this will be a good experience for both of us," she said warmly. "We'll make it part of our routine, and I'm sure Rachel will have great insights for us." Chapter 6: Living Doll. When Rachel arrived at the house for their first therapy session, Jack felt a thrill of anticipation mixed with nervous energy. He hadn't seen Emily's sister in a while, and though he trusted her, he couldn't shake the feeling of vulnerability at the idea of discussing so many personal changes in his life. Rachel greeted both of them with a warm smile, settling comfortably across from Jack and Emily in the cozy living room. "Thank you both for inviting me here today," she said gently. "I want to create a space where you both feel comfortable sharing your thoughts and feelings. You're both navigating new territory here." Emily smiled, her hand resting on Jack's as she gave it a reassuring squeeze. "We're so glad you're here, Rachel. I think this will help us both understand each other even better." Rachel nodded and turned to Jack, her gaze open and kind. Jack, let's start with you. How are you feeling about everything so far? Jack hesitated, his thoughts swirling. He had been growing more and more excited by the changes, each new step adding to the sense of care and connection he shared with Emily. Yet, a part of him was almost too embarrassed to admit just how much he enjoyed the way she dressed him and guided him. He swallowed, searching for words. Honestly, I feel really grateful that Emily's been so supportive, he said. It's happening so fast. I do like what we're doing, but sometimes I feel a bit overwhelmed, in a good way. Like I'm just trying to keep up. Emily's expression softened, and Rachel nodded in understanding. It's completely normal to feel that way, Jack, she said gently. You're experiencing a lot of new things, and it's natural to feel a mix of excitement and nerves. Emily leaned forward, her smile warm but slightly mischievous. Jack, I want you to know how much I love having this chance to take care of you. Ever since I was a kid, I loved dressing up my dolls, creating little worlds for them. And now, with you, it feels like I get to revisit that love, but with someone I care about deeply. It's like having my own living doll. Jack managed a shy smile, feeling a blend of warmth and hesitance. He was thrilled by Emily's happiness, but a blush crept to his cheeks as he realized how much he wanted to be part of this vision she had. I like that you feel that way, Emily, he admitted softly. I love how close it's bringing us. Rachel smiled approvingly. Jack, it sounds like you're navigating this well, she said. You're showing so much trust in Emily, and that's what makes this journey meaningful for both of you. Emily's smile grew as she gave Jack's hand a gentle squeeze. Which brings us to the next step, Jack, she said, her voice filled with playful excitement. You've adjusted so well, and I want to take this a little further, make you feel like the little baby doll I've always dreamed of having. Jack's cheeks flushed as he tried to process her words. You mean? Emily nodded, a glint of enthusiasm in her eyes. Yes, Jack. I want to start dressing you in softer, more adorable outfits, something sweet, gentle, and special. I want you to feel fully cared for, and I know this will bring us closer. Rachel chimed in with a supportive smile. Emily is doing a lot of work to care for you, Jack. She's dedicated to every part of this experience. By embracing her vision, you're showing her just how much you appreciate her care. Jack glanced at Emily, his face still flushed. Though he felt a twinge of embarrassment, he was grateful for the love and commitment she was showing him. And with Rachel's guidance, he felt even more reassured. Emily's eyes sparkled as she squeezed his hand again. Just trust me, sweetheart, she said softly. We're going to make this wonderful for both of us. As the session came to a close, Jack felt a mixture of relief and anticipation. Rachel's presence helped him feel more grounded, and he was grateful for her encouraging words. Still, the thought of being dressed even more babyishly left him both excited and shy. Rachel glanced at Jack with a gentle expression as they wrapped up. Jack, before we finish, is there anything else on your mind? Jack hesitated, then finally let out a small sigh. Well, I miss being close with Emily, you know? Intimate, like we used to be. Rachel and Emily exchanged a look, and Rachel's voice was gentle as she responded, Jack, it's natural to feel that way. But right now, Emily is focused on giving you a different kind of closeness. This journey is about trust and letting Emily guide you without expectations, as part of the commitment you made. Emily gave his hand a gentle squeeze, her eyes warm and understanding. Jack, I promise that everything I'm doing is to help us grow closer. But right now, I'm really enjoying this experience with you, and I hope you can be satisfied with the connection we're building. As the session wrapped up, Jack felt a warm sense of connection. Rachel's presence had been reassuring, and he could feel Emily's support and enthusiasm more than ever. Just as he began to relax, Emily leaned toward him, her hand coming to rest gently on his lower back. With a slight shift, she pressed her hand against his diaper, and Jack felt his face flush as he realized what she was doing. Jack, Emily murmured with a gentle smile, a playful glint in her eye, It looks like someone's in need of a change. She turned to Rachel, her tone casual, as if this were the most natural thing in the world. Do you mind if I take care of him right here? He could use a little freshening up. Rachel stifled a chuckle, nodding with an amused smile. Not at all, she said kindly. Jack, you're in good hands. Jack's cheeks turned bright red as he took in their casual demeanor, feeling a rush of embarrassment but also a surprising sense of safety. He looked up at Emily, hesitating for a moment, but her warm smile and gentle guidance left him with no doubt that she was fully committed to caring for him. Emily helped him lie down on the changing mat she'd prepared, her hands moving with the familiar confidence he'd come to know so well. All right, sweetheart, she murmured, untaping his diaper with gentle hands. Let's get you all nice and comfy again. As she worked, Emily kept up a soft, soothing conversation, her voice calm and affectionate. She lifted his legs with care, gently cleaning him and adding a dusting of powder. Jack couldn't help but feel a mixture of vulnerability and comfort as she moved with practiced ease, her touch both practical and tender. There we go, she said, securing the fresh diaper with a soft pat. All better, my sweet little one. Rachel watched with a warm smile, her eyes filled with approval. You're doing such a wonderful job, Emily, she remarked, her tone genuinely admiring. Jack, you're very lucky to have her taking such good care of you. Jack managed a sheepish smile, feeling the weight of their kindness and acceptance. He sat up as Emily finished, the crinkling of his fresh diaper reminding him of the commitment he'd made and the love that both women were showing him. Once he was settled, Emily and Rachel moved to the couch with a laptop, their heads close together as they began browsing for new additions to Jack's wardrobe. Jack watched them, unable to see the screen, but he could hear their excited whispers and laughter as they clicked through options. Oh, this one is perfect, Emily murmured, stifling a giggle. She glanced at Rachel, her eyes alight with delight. Can you imagine how adorable he'll look in this? Rachel laughed softly, nodding in agreement. Absolutely. And this one here, she added, pointing at the screen, I think it'll bring out his sweet, gentle side. Jack's curiosity grew, but the playful giggles and secretive glances they exchanged kept him in suspense. He could only imagine what kinds of outfits they were picking, and the thought left him feeling both nervous and excited. Each shared look between Emily and Rachel reminded him that he was in their care, and though the anticipation made him blush, he felt a warm sense of security knowing he was part of their plans. As they continued their shopping, their laughter and light-hearted comments filled the room, creating an atmosphere of warmth and affection. And as Jack listened to their joy, he couldn't help but feel deeply cared for, knowing that Emily and Rachel were putting so much thought into making him feel special. In that moment, Jack realized that, despite his initial hesitations, he was exactly where he was meant to be, surrounded by warmth, trust, and the gentle love of those who wanted only the best for him. Chapter 7: Shaving Jack. As evening settled in, Emily prepared everything she needed for the next step in Jack's journey. She'd given him a playful smile earlier in the day, hinting that she had a little surprise planned for that night, and Jack, despite his nerves, found himself wondering what she had in mind. When she finally called him into the bathroom, Jack's curiosity turned to surprise as he saw Emily setting out a small kit of shaving supplies and lotions. She turned to him with a warm smile, her eyes filled with gentle determination. Tonight, we're going to make sure you're all set to feel truly comfortable and soft, she said, her voice calm but playful. It's time for a bit of a makeover, my little cutie. Jack's heart raced, feeling a mix of anticipation and nervousness. Wait. You mean? Emily nodded, her expression both reassuring and focused. Yes, Jack. I'm going to help you feel like a real baby doll, soft, smooth, and ready for everything we have planned. Jack hesitated, the thought of being shaved making him feel exposed and vulnerable, but Emily's confidence eased his nerves. She guided him gently, helping him settle in a comfortable position. With her usual care and attention to detail, she began the process, each motion slow and deliberate. As she carefully worked, Jack's mind swirled with emotions, Part of him felt overwhelmed at how quickly things were progressing, yet he also felt a growing sense of trust in Emily's guidance. She seemed to take her time, moving with a focused, almost meticulous care, and Jack couldn't help but feel reassured by her presence. "There we go," she murmured, giving him a reassuring smile as she finished. She ran her hand over his now smooth skin, her eyes bright with approval. "Perfect, just like a baby doll." Jack managed a shy smile, feeling both embarrassed and oddly satisfied under her approving gaze. Emily gave him a gentle pat, her expression warm and affectionate. "You look absolutely precious," she said softly. "This is just the beginning, crinkly butt. Tomorrow, everything will start to come together." The words left Jack feeling both apprehensive and eager, wondering what she had planned next. Chapter 8: Thick Pink Diapers. The next morning, Jack woke to the sound of Emily moving about the house, her voice filled with excitement as she greeted someone at the door. He could hear the sound of boxes being brought in, the muffled exchanges between Emily and the delivery person, and a faint sense of curiosity began to grow. When he finally joined her in the living room, he saw several large boxes piled up, each labeled with various names that hinted at what was inside. Emily turned to him, her face lighting up with a delighted smile. "Good morning, Jack. Look what just arrived." Jack's eyes widened as he took in the sight, realizing that these boxes held everything she'd chosen with Rachel the day before. Emily wasted no time, opening the first box and pulling out a stack of thick, crinkly diapers, each one pink with delicate, girly patterns. The designs were playful, with soft pastel colors and little hearts, stars, and flowers decorating the surface. "These are perfect," Emily said, admiring them with a satisfied smile. She held one up, showing Jack the extra thick padding. "Twice as thick as before, just right for my little princess." Jack felt his cheeks flush as he took in the sight. The thickness of the new diapers made him realize just how fully Emily intended to immerse him in this experience. Before he could fully process it, she was already opening the next box, revealing a selection of adorable baby dresses in soft pastels and delicate patterns. One by one, Emily held up each dress, her face beaming with pride. The dresses were designed with puffy princess sleeves, lace trims, and soft fabrics that flowed just enough to leave the diaper slightly visible. Each dress looked as though it had been made for a cherished doll, complete with ribbons, bows, and tiny embroidered details. "These are going to look perfect on you," Emily murmured, holding one up to Jack as she admired the fit. She moved to the next box, pulling out little baby girl booties, shoes, and a set of soft, frilly rubber plastic panties meant to go over his diapers, each adorned with layers of delicate lace. Jack felt both overwhelmed and oddly captivated by the sight. The sheer level of detail in each piece, the frills, the softness, the gentle colors, all made him realize just how dedicated Emily was to this vision. She reached into another box, pulling out a set of pacifiers and bottles, each decorated with pastel designs, and a small bag filled with hair clips and accessories. "Oh, and these are for your hair," Emily said with a grin, holding up the hair clips with playful excitement. "I can't wait to see you all dressed up, my precious little princess." Jack managed a shy smile, his heart racing as he took it all in. Though he felt a bit daunted by everything laid out before him, Emily's enthusiasm and affection made him feel reassured. She was clearly delighted, her laughter and joy filling the room as she arranged each item. "Now," she said, giving him a playful look, "why don't we get you dressed? Let's try out one of these new outfits." Jack felt a nervous thrill as Emily guided him toward the bedroom, his heart pounding with both anticipation and trust. And as she carefully dressed him in his new clothes, he realized that, no matter how quickly things were progressing, Emily's undivided attention made him feel truly cherished. Chapter 9: Babies Don't Talk. The following day, Jack found himself nervously anticipating Rachel's next visit. Emily had spent the morning carefully dressing him in one of his new outfits, a soft pastel dress with puffy princess sleeves that didn't fully cover his thick, crinkly diaper. With the added rubber plastic panties and frilly baby girl shoes, Jack felt completely transformed, though the thought of being seen like this made him blush deeply. Just as he was starting to adjust to his new attire, he became aware of an uncomfortable sensation, a reminder of the vulnerability he'd experienced the day before. Before he could decide what to do, the doorbell rang, and moments later, Rachel entered, greeting Emily warmly. "Hello, Jack." Rachel greeted him with a bright smile, her eyes glinting with amusement as she took in his appearance. "I see you're fully embracing the new look." Jack managed a shy nod, feeling his cheeks warm under her gaze. Emily noticed his discomfort and gave him a playful pat on the bottom. "Looks like someone needs a change before we start," she said with a gentle laugh. Jack felt his face flush, realizing that Emily was preparing to change his diaper with Rachel still in the room. He glanced at her, feeling a wave of embarrassment, but Emily simply smiled, leading him over to the changing mat she'd set up nearby. "Come on, diaper butt," she teased, her voice filled with affectionate amusement. "Let's get you all freshened up." Jack lay back, feeling utterly exposed as Emily began the process of changing his diaper with her usual calmness and care. Rachel looked on, her expression a mixture of professionalism and light-hearted humor, and Jack felt his cheeks burn with embarrassment. Despite the vulnerability, he couldn't help but feel reassured by Emily's steady presence. Emily moved with practiced ease, untaping the diaper and cleaning him thoroughly, all the while offering playful little quips. "There we go, my little princess," she cooed with a grin. "All fresh and comfy, just like you deserve." Rachel chuckled softly from her seat, her eyes filled with amusement as she watched. "I must say, you're in good hands, Jack. Emily's certainly a natural." Once Jack was changed and settled, the three of them moved to the living room for the therapy session. Rachel began with her usual warm approach, asking Jack how he was feeling about the changes so far. Jack hesitated, his thoughts swirling. He wanted to express how much he appreciated Emily's care, but a small part of him couldn't help but bring up his previous request. "I know we talked about this, but I miss being intimate with Emily in that other way." Rachel's expression shifted, her brow furrowing slightly as she looked at him. "Jack, we've discussed this," she said, her voice calm but firm. "You agreed to let Emily guide this journey. Part of that commitment means honoring her wishes without imposing your own expectations." Jack felt a pang of embarrassment, realizing he'd disappointed them both. He glanced at Emily, hoping for reassurance, but she looked thoughtful, her expression pensive. Rachel turned to Emily, her voice soft. "Emily, how do you feel when Jack brings this up?" Emily took a moment, choosing her words carefully. "I love Jack very much," she began, her voice gentle. "But when he brings it up, it feels like he's not fully trusting me, like he's questioning the path I've set for us." Rachel nodded, then asked, "What would help you feel more supported, Emily?" Emily glanced at Jack, her gaze warm but filled with quiet determination. "Sometimes, I wish he didn't feel the need to talk about it at all," she said softly. I think he might be happier if he focused on just being present, without feeling like he has to question everything." Rachel listened thoughtfully. "That's a fair request, Emily. It sounds like Jack might benefit from a gentle reminder to stay grounded in the present, rather than focusing on expectations." Emily's face brightened as an idea took shape. She looked at Jack, her eyes kind but decisive. "Jack, I think it would be helpful for you to start using a pacifier during the day. Not all the time, but enough to remind you to focus on this experience rather than questioning it. It's a way for me to help you feel secure, and it gives me the experience of having my little baby doll who doesn't need to talk back." Jack's heart raced as he processed her words. The thought of using a pacifier felt both humbling and comforting, and though he hesitated, he saw the sincerity in Emily's eyes. She wasn't asking him to let go of his voice entirely, just to embrace the experience without needing constant reassurance. Rachel smiled approvingly, nodding at Emily's suggestion. "That sounds like a wonderful idea, Emily. Jack, this is a way for you to deepen your trust in her, to fully embrace the role she's guiding you toward. Jack took a deep breath, feeling a mix of emotions, embarrassment, vulnerability, and a quiet sense of relief. He looked at Emily, finding strength in her warm, encouraging smile. "All right," he murmured. "I guess so." Emily's face softened, and she gave his hand a gentle squeeze. "Thank you, Jack. This means a lot to me," she said warmly. With a small smile, she reached into her bag and pulled out a pastel-colored pacifier, holding it up for him to see. Jack's eyes widened as he realized she'd already planned this, her playful anticipation evident as she brought it to his lips. "Here you go, my little princess," she murmured, gently placing the pacifier in his mouth. "Let's remember to just be present and enjoy the experience." Jack's heart pounded as he took in the feel of the pacifier, its presence a soft but firm reminder of his commitment to Emily's vision. With Rachel's guidance and Emily's unwavering support, he felt a quiet acceptance settle over him, realizing that this journey was about trust, connection, and embracing each step, one gentle reminder at a time. Chapter 10: Embracing the Pacifier and a New Look. The next morning, Jack awoke to the familiar crinkling sound of his thick diaper, a soft reminder of the world Emily had created for him. As he stretched and opened his eyes, he found Emily standing beside him with a warm smile, holding out his pastel pacifier. "Good morning, diaper baby," she murmured, her voice filled with affection as she gently placed the pacifier between his lips. "Let's start the day right." Jack felt a soft warmth fill him as the pacifier settled in his mouth, reminding him of his commitment to follow Emily's guidance and embrace her nurturing care. Emily's expression was one of pure delight as she leaned down, giving him a light pat on his diapered bottom. "You look absolutely precious, baby," she cooed, her tone playful. "I have a special day planned for us. We're going to try out some new outfits." With a gentle hand on his shoulder, she guided him to the bedroom, where she had laid out a series of pastel-colored dresses, delicate tops, and frilly skirts, each one carefully chosen for its softness and charm. Jack's cheeks flushed as he took in the sight, realizing that Emily had put as much thought into his wardrobe as she had every other detail of their routine. Emily selected a light pink dress with lace trim and puffed sleeves, holding it up with a bright smile. "This one is perfect for my little girl," she said, helping him slip it on and adjusting the fabric with care. She tied small bows at his shoulders and straightened the skirt, admiring her work with a look of satisfaction. Once he was dressed, Emily turned her attention to his hair, brushing and arranging it with a set of pastel-colored clips that she'd picked out just for him. Each clip matched the delicate colors of his outfit, and she took her time, adjusting each detail with a patient, loving hand. "You're such a perfect little doll," she whispered, her voice soft as she brushed a final clip into place. "And I know you'll look just as adorable in everything we have planned for today." Jack's heart swelled with a mixture of emotions, embarrassment, gratitude, and a quiet acceptance that came from seeing Emily so joyful. But Emily wasn't finished. She guided him to sit down, pulling out a small set of nail polish bottles in soft pinks and whites. "Let's get those little fingers and toes looking as cute as the rest of you," she said with a playful smile. Jack watched as she painted each nail with precision, adding tiny patterns to make his hands and feet look even more delicate. Her gentle focus as she worked made him feel cherished, like a precious part of her life. "There we go," she said, blowing gently on his nails to help the polish dry. "Now you're all set." By mid-afternoon, Jack had been dressed and styled in several different outfits, each one more babyish and charming than the last. Emily's laughter filled the room as she guided him through each look, her delight apparent in every choice. Jack found himself relaxing, reassured by her joy and feeling more comfortable with each step. That evening, as the sun began to set, Rachel stopped by, greeting Jack with an amused smile as she took in his carefully styled appearance. "Well, don't you look absolutely precious?" she teased, winking at him. "Emily's been having a lot of fun, hasn't she?" Jack managed a shy nod, the pacifier still in his mouth as he looked between the two sisters. Emily patted his hand, beaming with pride. "He's been such a good baby today," she said affectionately. "And I thought tonight, we could pick out a few more pieces together." Rachel's face lit up, and soon the two sisters were huddled over Emily's laptop, browsing through babyish outfits and accessories with giddy enthusiasm. Jack could only watch, his curiosity piqued as he heard them laugh and whisper excitedly over each selection. "Oh, this one's perfect," Rachel murmured, holding up the screen for Emily to see. Emily stifled a giggle, nodding in agreement. "Yes, he'll look absolutely darling." Jack felt a mix of anticipation and embarrassment, unable to see what they were choosing but hearing their delighted reactions. "Thank you for being so wonderful today, baby," Emily said softly, placing a gentle kiss on his forehead. "Every little step we take makes this journey even more special." As the evening continued, Jack found himself accepting the rhythm of their laughter, the gentle joy filling the room. Whatever lay ahead, he knew he was in caring hands, loved and cherished as Emily's own sweet little doll. Chapter 11, Gratitude Chores. The next morning, Jack awoke to the sound of soft laughter coming from the kitchen. He rubbed his eyes, adjusting to the familiar crinkle of his thick diaper, a gentle reminder of his place in Emily's world. As he sat up, he felt a slight discomfort, realizing he'd need Emily's help soon. Emily entered the room, holding his pastel pacifier with a warm smile. "Good morning, my little diaper princess," she murmured, her tone affectionate as she gently placed the pacifier between his lips. "Let's start the day right." Once he was settled in his morning attire, a light blue dress with delicate lace around the collar and matching rumba panties, Emily led him to the kitchen, where Rachel was already seated, sipping her coffee with an approving smile. "Good morning, little one," Rachel greeted, her eyes twinkling with playful affection. "Did you sleep well?" Jack nodded shyly, feeling a warmth in his cheeks at the attention from both sisters. Emily gave him a reassuring pat as they shared breakfast together, the sisters chatting while he listened quietly, comforted by their presence. Once breakfast was over, Jack walked into the corner and filled his diaper. Emily glanced at Jack, her eyes glinting with playful amusement. "Smells like someone needs a little extra care this morning," she said, her tone gentle as she guided him to the changing mat she'd set up nearby. Jack's cheeks flushed as he lay down, feeling a mix of vulnerability and comfort as Emily began the process of changing him. Rachel watched with a fond smile, clearly impressed by Emily's care and attention. Emily untaped his diaper, moving with her usual calmness. "There we go, stinky butt," she cooed with a grin, her tone playful. "We'll have you all fresh and comfy in no time." Rachel watched with a soft chuckle. "Emily, you're such a natural caregiver." "Jack, you're very lucky to have someone as dedicated as Emily looking after you." Jack managed a small smile, feeling both humbled and grateful as Emily finished changing him, adding a light dusting of powder before taping up a fresh diaper. "All done, baby," she whispered, giving him a gentle pat. "Now, let's have a wonderful day." Once he was ready, they moved to the living room for their scheduled therapy session. Rachel began by turning to Jack, her expression thoughtful as she asked, "How are you feeling about everything, Jack? Are you finding comfort in this routine?" Jack took a moment to process her words, his pacifier reminding him to pause before responding.
I feel safe," he managed softly, glancing at Emily.
"I appreciate everything Emily is doing. It's just a lot to take in." Rachel nodded, her gaze understanding. "It's natural to feel that way, especially when you're adjusting to such a new role. But remember, each day you're embracing this, you're building trust and connection. That's what matters most." She then turned to Emily, her smile warm. "Emily, you're doing so much for Jack. Changing his diapers, providing comfort day and night. How would you feel about Jack showing his gratitude in a tangible way?" Emily thought for a moment, then turned to Jack with a kind smile. "I think it would mean a lot if you helped out around the house," she suggested gently. "Taking on some chores could be a way to show your appreciation for everything I do for you." Rachel nodded approvingly. "That sounds like a wonderful idea. Jack, This is a chance for you to take an active role, to contribute in a way that helps Emily feel supported. Jack felt the weight of their words, nodding in quiet agreement. The pacifier reminded him to focus on acceptance rather than speaking, so he nodded, letting Emily know he was willing to do his part. Emily's smile softened as she reached over to pat his hand. "Thank you, Princess," she murmured, her voice filled with warmth. "We'll make a great team." As the session ended, Jack felt a growing sense of peace, knowing that taking on responsibilities was a way to strengthen their connection. The idea of contributing more made him feel valued, adding a new dimension to their bond. Emily tapped his pacifier with a gentle smile. "Let's start with something simple," she said. "I'll show you how I like the dusting done." With that, Jack followed her, feeling a quiet pride in knowing he could help make Emily's day a little easier. And as he completed each small task, he realized that gratitude could be shown in countless ways, each one bringing them closer together. Chapter 12: A New Normal. Over the next several days, Jack found himself adjusting more and more to the new rhythm Emily had established. His days became filled with routines that, at first, felt unfamiliar but gradually became a comforting pattern. Each morning began with Emily greeting him, pacifier in hand, ready to guide him through his day with calm encouragement. "Good morning, my little doll," she would say warmly, slipping the pacifier between his lips with a soft smile. Her touch was gentle, the pacifier a reminder of the trust he'd placed in her. He felt reassured, knowing that all he needed to do was follow her guidance and simply be present. Every other day began with Rachel joining them for therapy sessions, where she observed Jack's progress with a warm smile, always offering encouraging words. The sessions became part of his routine, grounding him and helping him feel the value in each task he took on around the house. Through these sessions, Jack began to truly understand that his chores were a way to show appreciation for all that Emily did for him, each task a small way of giving back to her. Emily patiently taught him each chore, starting with simple tasks like dusting and vacuuming. She guided him through each step, her voice gentle yet firm, making sure he understood her expectations. With each chore, Jack felt a sense of purpose, knowing that his efforts were a way to support Emily and bring her a small measure of comfort. As the days progressed, Emily introduced new responsibilities: washing dishes, mopping, cleaning her bathroom, and even scrubbing the toilet. Jack immersed himself in the rhythm of each task, realizing that his attention to detail was a reflection of his gratitude for Emily's care. With each completed chore, he felt a quiet satisfaction, knowing he was contributing to the shared home they had created. In the moments when he wasn't busy with chores, Emily would sometimes call him over with a playful smile, extending her feet as she sat back in her armchair. "Come here, my sweet little helper," she would say, her tone affectionate as she guided him to massage her feet. Jack would kneel down, carefully rubbing her feet as she relaxed, her eyes closing as a soft hum of contentment escaped her. "Thank you, baby," she would murmur, patting his head affectionately. "You're making my day so much better." Throughout the day, Emily would ask him for small favors: a glass of water, a snack, or perhaps a blanket when she felt chilly. Jack quickly learned to respond to her needs, moving quietly and efficiently to fulfill her requests. He even began to anticipate her desires, finding ways to bring her comfort before she had to ask, earning her pleased smile and gentle praise. As time passed, Jack noticed he'd become increasingly comfortable in his diapers. He no longer thought about when or if he needed to use them; wetting or even messing had become as natural as breathing. He no longer asked for changes or gave any sign of discomfort, trusting entirely in Emily to know when he needed care. Emily, attentive as ever, would periodically check his diaper, her hand gently patting his bottom or pressing against the back to assess whether he needed a change. She performed these checks so naturally, her touch both practical and affectionate. It reassured him, her presence a quiet comfort as she cared for him with the same love and dedication she gave to every part of their lives together. "Get that diapered butt over here," she'd say with a playful grin when she found he needed a change. "Let's get you all fresh and comfy." Jack's cheeks would flush each time, but he'd smile as she guided him to the changing mat, her hands moving with practiced ease. She would untape his diaper with gentle precision, cleaning him thoroughly, her touch both thorough and tender. Once he was freshened up, she'd fasten a new diaper around him, smoothing the tapes with a soft pat. "Good as new, my precious little princess," she'd say, giving him a warm smile. "You're always so much happier when you're all clean and cozy." Jack's days became a comforting cycle of care and routine, each small act reinforcing the trust they'd built together. Emily's world had become his own, a place where he felt cherished, protected, and free from worry. The rhythm they'd created together brought him a quiet sense of peace, each day a gentle reminder of how deeply he valued her guidance and support. As he lay in bed each night, the pacifier resting softly between his lips, Jack felt a deep sense of contentment settle over him. He knew he was fulfilling Emily's vision for their life, embracing the care and structure she had so lovingly provided. With each passing day, he grew more at ease, more attuned to her needs, and more grateful for the life they had built together. Emily's gentle presence, her warmth and patience, was woven into every moment of his day, reminding him that he was exactly where he belonged. And as he drifted off to sleep, he knew that, in her care, he had found a life of true trust, comfort, and peace. Chapter 13: A Lifetime Commitment. The months that followed Jack's initial adjustment passed in a comforting blur of routine, affection, and gentle guidance. Each day began the same way, Emily greeting him with a soft smile, pacifier in hand, ready to start the day. She would slip the pacifier between his lips and give him a reassuring pat, her touch warm and filled with love. "Good morning, my precious little doll," she would say as she dressed him in the delicate outfits she'd chosen. His wardrobe had grown to include soft pastel dresses, little rompers, and accessories that she picked out with great care, each piece reflecting the vision she had for their life together. Jack's days became a blend of helping around the house and following the routine Emily had created. From tidying and cleaning to fetching her a drink or giving her a soothing foot massage, he quickly grew attuned to Emily's needs. She no longer needed to ask for the small things, he had learned to anticipate her wants, earning her affectionate smiles and words of gratitude. Emily's touch had become a constant, reassuring presence. She would periodically check his diaper throughout the day, her hands warm and gentle as she assessed whether he needed a change. She would give him a soft pat on his bottom, her voice playful yet caring. "Looks like my little princess needs a change," she'd say with a grin, guiding him to the changing mat with the same patient care she'd always shown. Each change was a moment of intimacy and trust, her hands moving with gentle efficiency. She'd untape his diaper, clean him thoroughly, and secure a fresh one around him, her smile warm and proud as she finished. "There we go, baby," she'd murmur, giving his hand a gentle squeeze. "All clean and happy." Jack had come to rely on her presence completely, each diaper check, each gentle touch reinforcing the sense of peace he felt in her care. He'd learned to relax entirely, trusting her to notice and tend to his every need, no longer worrying about himself or his needs, knowing Emily was always there. Time slipped by, each day a gentle rhythm of care and companionship. Emily's praise and pride filled him with a quiet joy, her warm voice often calling him princess or poopy butt. She would laugh and tease him affectionately, each word filled with warmth and love. 11 months later. As the end of their contract approached, Emily sat Jack down one evening at the dining table, her eyes soft and thoughtful as she held his hand. The room was warmly lit, and she looked at him with a tenderness that made his heart race. "Jack," she began softly, her voice filled with emotion, "these past months have been everything I'd hoped for, and so much more. Watching you grow into this life, seeing how close it's brought us. It's been the most beautiful journey." Jack listened, his heart swelling with affection as he took in her words. He felt deeply satisfied, each day with her a reminder of the love and care that bound them together. Emily looked down for a moment, then placed a new document on the table, sliding it gently toward him. "With our first contract coming to an end, I wanted to offer you something more permanent, something that will let us keep living this life without any time limits or conditions. Jack's eyes widened as he read over the terms. This new contract would make their arrangement permanent, giving Emily full and lifelong control over him. "If you sign this, Jack," Emily explained softly, "you'll be under my care, in diapers, and living this life together with me. Forever." She paused, her eyes filled with love. Emily reached over, giving his hand a gentle squeeze. "I know this is a big decision," she said, her voice soft. "So if you sign, Jack, I'll give you a night of true intimacy, just you and me, together." Jack felt a surge of emotion, the thought of closeness with her filling him with anticipation. He'd waited so long for this, each day deepening his love for her and the life they shared. He looked at Emily, his heart racing as he picked up the pen. The weight of the choice settled over him, but with her gaze steady and warm, he knew he was exactly where he belonged. Slowly, he signed his name, committing himself to her care for the rest of his life. Emily's face softened, her eyes bright with love and pride. She leaned forward, pressing a gentle kiss to his cheek. "Thank you, my sweet little doll," she whispered. "You've made me so happy." As Emily removed Jack's clothes in preparation for the promised night of intimacy, Emily couldn't help but tease him with affectionate names, her voice filled with delight. "My baby girl," she murmured, smoothing his hair and brushing her hand over his cheek, "I'm ready for you." Jack's cheeks flushed, her playful words filling him with both excitement and a touch of embarrassment. But as they continued, he quickly realized something was wrong. Despite his longing for closeness, he found himself unable to respond as he'd expected. Emily raised an eyebrow, her smile softening with understanding as she gently brushed his hair back. "Oh well," she said lightly, her tone teasing. "It seems my little baby isn't quite ready for grown-up things." Without missing a beat, she took his hand, guiding him back to the familiar changing mat. With calm confidence, she helped him lie down, her hands moving with practiced ease as she fastened him into a fresh diaper. Jack felt a pang of disappointment, but Emily's gentle touch and warm smile reassured him. She finished with a soft pat on his diapered bottom, her voice filled with gentle amusement. "There we go, sweetie," she cooed, brushing a lock of hair from his forehead. "This is where you belong, my diapered little doll." As she tucked him into bed, pacifier back between his lips, Jack felt a wave of stunned disbelief wash over him. He lay there, his mind racing, struggling to process the evening's events and the new contract he'd just signed. Emily's gentle touch and affectionate words had left him feeling dazed, a swirl of emotions he couldn't quite unravel. What just happened? He wondered, feeling a strange mix of acceptance and uncertainty. The comforting weight of the fresh diaper, her whispered words, and the permanence of the life he'd agreed to, it all settled over him, leaving him both captivated and uneasy. As Emily turned off the light and gently kissed his forehead, Jack's thoughts drifted, a quiet sense of surrender mingling with the lingering question of what he had just done. Thanks so much for watching today. We hope you enjoyed this week's story and found it relatable, informative, or just a little comforting. Remember, we post new videos every week, so if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. If you found this helpful or know someone who might, don't forget to like the video and share it with your community. Your support means everything and helps us keep creating content just for you. Until next time, take care and stay true to yourself.